very much committed. But there's more. The Chancellor didn't ask me to come here to thank you and congratulate you. The Chancellor, the Treasury, and I have a specific message on new technologies. Ladies and gentlemen, never in the history of commerce has there been invention as hyped and misunderstood as distributed ledger technology and blockchain.
Whoa, that makes me shiver. Never in the history of commerce has there been technology as hyped and misunderstood as distributed ledger technology and blockchain. It's mad that he mentions DLT specifically and then blockchain after. Like, obviously the core infrastructure of them is different, but like the way that they run is pretty similar too. For anyone who doesn't really know the difference between DLT and blockchain, blockchain's quite like a linear format, like as in you fill a block and you go on to the next block. And we can get into how blocks work, and they're basically just like, imagine like this is an easy way to explain it for everybody who doesn't understand. I'm sure a lot of you already do. But imagine you've got an Excel spreadsheet, yeah, and every single transaction that's going on that ledger, the ledger's just a network. So if you're purchasing on Bitcoin, on Bitcoin's blockchain network, every single transaction goes into what's called a block, which is basically like a sheet of Excel, and it just says this person paid this person. It'll be a wallet address to wallet address, and then like the credit from that address to that address, and the debit from the other. So that's all just recorded in like a linear format in a blockchain, and then when that block's full, it goes on to the next block, and it's in a chain, and that's why it's called a blockchain. And basically what miners are competing for is the last person to put the transaction in the block, because then they get, well, it was 12.5 Bitcoin reward when I first started reading about Bitcoin, but like we've had halving since then, so I don't actually know what the reward is anymore. But with DLT, specifically distributed ledger technology, so the good thing about that, actually, the good thing about blockchain is that it's obviously pretty easy to see what's happened in the past, and every single node in the world stores the whole network's like history. But DLT is different, so distributed ledger technology is different, because it's basically the same thing, but little bits just broken up and put into different blocks all over the place. So you might have like, let's just say you've got a node, like let's just use Ripple's XRP for example. Let's say you've got a node at the SEC, which we know there is one there, that you might have a node at the Bank of England, and the node of the Bank of England might just take 3 or 4 transactions from the last hour, and the node of the SEC might take like 3 or 4 transactions from the last hour, different ones, and then they just like, communicate those between each other rather than like saving all the transactions on every single block and using loads of data and loads of storage. So that's basically, and that's why like it works like faster, and it is, I mean, it's quite a, don't know if I've explained that very well, but the fact that they're mentioning DLT is mad, because they could just say blockchain, but they've specifically talked about DLT. So I hope that I've just explained that in a way that people can understand. I probably haven't. It's pretty hard to explain. It's probably easier drawing it out, but just imagine, like, the best way to describe it is, in like Bitcoin, imagine there's like one scribe writing all the transactions out, and everyone gets a copy of that exact transaction when they confirm that that's the right thing that's happened. And in DLT, there might be like 10 people all writing it out and everyone confirming that all those people are right, but it just means that like, if you've got 10 people, you can do it 10 times as fast, because you could do transaction 1, then transaction 2, then transaction 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it's called distributed ledger technology because it's literally the ledger's distributed over different nodes. So that's the difference. But anyway, I'm going to get back into it now. So I hope that made sense to everyone.